Prashant, thank you so much for being on my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. I have been talking about you in my previous videos, talking about fundamentals and how important it is to ground and to respect nature. And so it was only a matter of time before I got to share your beautiful presence with everybody that is subscribed. So,
Yes, Julie, it's nice to be here, and like always, it's best to talk about things clearly, and which still goes out to everyone right now. Internet is still there, and people can still hear and things, without any kind of editing or any kind of censorship as of now. So it's still best to utilize while things are there. Yeah, yeah,
exactly, yes.
yeah.
And for my viewers, I want to let you know I will be putting this on BitChute. I have been censored already a few times.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
BitChute is definitely where things are going to right now.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so I think it's so important that we bring up the topic about actors and
Yes.
how you had mentioned this before, but I want to emphasize it on, basically how the people that the masses are worshiping and are putting their attention towards are actors and
Yes.
celebrities. And
Yes.
could you please share with us what that has done to our society as a whole?
Okay. The thing is that since the 20th century, like when like cinema became a big thing, see from 1930s, 40s onwards, 50s, 60s, then the celebrities slowly and slowly, more and more, like uh, were the actors now. You know, before that, it was the people of knowledge who know something, like who have discovered something, who have found out something, or who have done something, were the celebrities or the known people. Then what happened was that in everything, like uh, people who didn't know anything but just could act a certain way or play a role of like a doctor or a scientist or anything, they started becoming the celebrities. So whenever you're going to celebrate something like that, now what is the point of that? Like what are you going to gain from it? you know like that person can't teach you anything about life, about existence, about anything. They don't know. If that's why, whenever all of these actors are interviewed, if you notice, like all the celebrities and stuff, whenever they are interviewed, they're always so unhappy about being interviewed, right?
Yeah.
Because they've got nothing to say really. Like they just say, I got nothing to say, why are you asking me all these questions? Like, why are you bothering me? Like, like because you're expecting some kind of answers from them
Yeah.
about life, about things, about everything in general. But how would they give that? They don't have those answers.
Yeah.
So they're being pressured unnecessarily. You
And
know,
even been put into positions of power, like the president.
yeah, and the president, everything, and all like as heads of things. Like in a like because science was a sham. Like most of the modern science is a sham.
Yeah.
You know, so all the people who are scientists, so-called scientists, are also actors. So
Mm.
all the big names in science, all the big names in anything, they're all actors. They it's a role, like how basically Einstein played that role of. So Einstein was the first like scientist actor, and he created the whole paradigm of how a scientist should look like. With the hair all like that, and it created a caricature of what what a scientist looks like. And that was followed through in all the movies afterwards.
Yeah.
Like you create a like an image of what a learned person looks like, and what a person like that, like, so all of those are acting jobs only. So I mean, I call 20th century the whole like century of acting, like,
Yeah.
the whole century, like, I mean, not and it is carried on into the 21st century now, obviously. But I think 21st century has had more reality come into it
Mm.
than the 20th because of internet. Okay, now some people can be themselves, okay, and come out and say things on internet, like Jim saying, and say things as they are, what they perceive, actual reality, facts, something like that, where they don't have to act. you know so from 20th to 21st century, that is the biggest movement that is actually happening, which people can't see this movement actually, but that is from like acting to non-acting actually, because people know in acting you don't do any good to yourself ever. You know, I mean, you can earn a paycheck, but that's about all. Like, people are at different jobs and they act in those jobs so that they can, not get fired, like, and then just like earn a paycheck, like that's all. Like, but you lose your integrity, but you cannot nurture your spirit or nourish it to go upwards by acting. For that, you'll have to take some action, real action with yourself in order to. So because acting all the time, acting around friends, acting around this thing, acting around that thing, acting around parents, and then all of that, even the movies and media tells how to act, like how to. That's where people learn everything from movies, right? Like that's the teacher. Like, so all this thing is like a big acting game which happens, and then you have no time for yourself or even contemplating anything about yourself, your being, your well-being, anything. You're just in this loop of acting 24/7, 365, you
Yeah.
know,
And
which is
yeah, you don't,
damaging.
you're given your script and that's it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, and like you become a mother, then you're going to play the mommy script now, and what is the mommy script, or what is the father script, or what is this script, what is how to behave with friends, how to hang out with friends. Even that, there's programs you can see how friends hang out with each other. What do they do? Like they everyone gives each other a beer or whatever. Like, like you learn all these things, which are all negative things in the end. Everything the media is teaching or the movies have taught is bad for the human being, human body. There's not single thing they teach out there for your physical well-being or your spiritual well-being, which is for either of those. In everything they are teaching. So whether people see music videos, right? And in that there's certain kind of dancing which is going on. So now that those dance moves are not good for your body. If you try to imitate them, you'll harm yourself. Okay. Okay. Everything, whatever is being shown at all points of time through all that acting, okay, is funnily all bad for you.
Yeah.
So when you talked about harm, I said everything is harming. There's not a single thing which is not harming. Yeah, you'll have to go with a candle to find something which is not harming you in all of those things. Even the face expressions which the actors make, or different people, or everything. You know, even whatever they're doing, like people in studios and bright lights and all of that, it's all bad for you, right?
Yeah.
But people think that's a good stuff. Like people think that's great and that's good. Like, so it creates a wrong image. It takes you away from natural towards unnatural, more and more and more and more, more and more and more. So
And it deceives you too into thinking of like it reminds me of Margaret Thatcher
yeah,
when Meryl
yeah,
Streep played her.
yeah,
And she portrayed her to be this heroic figure. But if
yeah,
you look at her and her actions, she
yeah,
wasn't like that at all. So through this
yeah,
big movie propaganda, they're
yeah,
able to somewhat, restore her reputation.
yeah. But acting will obviously be used for deception, okay? Because why? Otherwise, why are you acting?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a deception at lower levels or deception at higher levels, deception at many levels. Okay. It's nothing to do with. Okay, I mean, if something is very simple, like if something is good for someone, okay, it's about well-being of a being or something, then you don't have to act, right?
Yeah.
You can plainly and clearly just tell them, right?
Yeah.
Look, this is good for you, and this is that thing, and this is something you can do. I mean, you don't have to act then. There's no need for acting in actual real communication,
Exactly.
which is to do with well-being or raising yourself or raising each. Like, there needs to be no acting in that anyways.
The authenticity.
Yeah, yeah, which is because it's straightforward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of things are straightforward, right? Straightforward. There's nothing to hide in that. It's very clear. It's there is no sort of agenda to it.
Exactly.
Like it's just one's own well-being and others' well-being. So then it's very simple. It's simplistic. It doesn't carry all these things with it. Like so I mean, and that kind of straight talk even has only happened since internet times, even little bit of it, you know, because people don't have to be worried about some like ratings or this or that, or you know, like the where any kind of clear and plain communication is happening, you know, where acting is not required. I mean, you know, when you are just actually, like when you say this is a tree, right? There's a tree behind you, there are trees behind you, so I can just say, oh, there are those trees behind you. So and so then there's no acting to these kind of facts, you know.
Mhm.
You're just sticking to the facts, you know, then you don't need to act. Like, okay, but when you're trying to create an illusion or a delusion, then only acting is comes into play, you know, like so.
I find
Yeah,
it really interesting that, right when
yeah,
I started this interview, I feel like I'm losing my voice. It's like
yeah,
something is trying to get me to, I don't know, but I'm
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so,
I mean,
thank-
because it takes a while to actually express yourself,
mhm.
you know, because people have been taught to act so much
Yes,
that they don't know their
the
real
difference.
expression
Mm.
of themselves, because they haven't practiced it. Okay, again, everything is practice. Whatever you practice, you get into a habit of. Okay, so this whole acting field which has been created around the, not just in cinemas, I'm just talking about even how people deal with each other in general now, everything,
Yeah,
that whole acting field has to be taken out by authenticity, clarity, reality. These words
when like
have to.
when you're at the market or at the bank or something,
Yeah,
you always
yeah,
say, because the acting, how are you? Oh, I'm
yeah,
great. How are you? And they
yeah,
never respond. Actually, how are they? It's like
yeah,
a
yeah,
automatic response from a
yeah.
machine.
Yes, a machine. Yeah, obviously, like that is just a thing, because nobody's doing great or nothing like that is all true. Like it's all nonsense. Like, and you
Yeah.
don't really care. I mean, it's just all nonsense, right?
Mhm.
So all of that nonsense has to be taken out, and all of that comes with actually being honest with yourself. Okay, only when you're honest with yourself and you realize about yourself, okay, like I'm a being and I'm stuck here and I need to do something to raise myself or get out of this mess or whatever. Like
Yeah.
when you're honest with yourself, then only the acting stops, because now you're actually going to do something about yourself, you know. You're not just going to act anymore. You take a decision to step out of the acting and actually do some action for yourself, for a change, you know. Like it's a change, it's a big change, you know. And for people to get out of this, they have to even be aware of this first,
Mhm.
that they are in an acting field. There is a whole acting field all around us, like
Yes.
in this matrix, continuously, like that we are in an acting field, like okay, like, and all of that has to, and that's what is taking away so much of the time and energy, and it's not helping beings evolve. Like it's just stopping them from evolving. It's fact, it's devolving them,
Yeah.
because all the time and energy is going into this acting thing. And why should actors be celebrities anyways? That's what I say. Like, I mean, what are they, what are they doing which is so good for you, and how does that help you raise yourself? Like, you know, I mean, I don't see what the point is, like, you know.
Absolutely. And yes,
Yeah,
and I can attest personally, when we're little and we're indoctrinated and we love all of these celebrities and
yeah,
musicians and we think that they're gods and heroes. And
yeah,
what that brought me, as opposed to once I started putting my attention on higher and divine beings
yeah,
with more knowledge, beings
yeah,
that have a direct connection with nature. And what
yes,
that did for me, it was a
yeah,
complete just catapult into all of this new and conscious energy that
yes,
expanded me.
yes, yes. I mean, obviously they have nothing to offer. See, that's why that's why this hollow thing, this and even this fame thing, you know, is a very hollow thing in that way. Okay, fame is like, okay, you're getting attention. Okay, what is fame? Okay, you get attention. Okay, so let's say like you've gotten attention of millions of people.
Yeah.
Okay, now everybody's looking towards you. Okay, You are the center of attention and everybody's looking at you. Then what? Now what are you going to do? What are you going to tell them? Which is be good for them? You have nothing to say to them, actually. You've brought in all this attention onto yourself, but now you don't have anything constructive to do with that. Okay, because you don't have anything constructive to do with yourself. Even you don't even know how to raise yourself or do anything for yourself. So you can have millions of eyes upon you now. Okay, but then what's the use? And then by your own example, you will say something bad for them, nonsensical for them. Okay, which would even be bad for them. That's so much negative karma now.
Yes.
Because you got the attention and now you led the people in the wrong direction. Just because you were put on the spot now. Because you were the celebrity, you were the attention center, but you couldn't do anything about it, with it. So there's a lot of negative karma which gets created through all this, but beings don't realize that what's actually happening. So like why they want fame, what are they going to do with it? If attention comes on them, what is your plan? What is your point of that
Yeah.
attention?
And that's why so often, they end up dying early, having a devolving, miserable alcoholics.
Yeah, and obviously because all that pressure is there.
Yes.
With attention comes pressure,
Exactly.
and you can't barely take care of yourself. You don't know what to do with yourself, and now you have to tell everyone what to do, like. And I mean that can be a very pressurized situation then,
Yeah.
and it's just not right for beings to be in that position when they don't have anything to say, anything constructive, real, or something important to say. You know, even in ancient times when people used to go with the drum and stuff to a different village and they used to say like attention, attention, attention. They had some news to give, or they had to say something of importance or something. You
Yeah.
know, like, but it's not like that. Like these people are having attention for no rhyme or reason whatsoever at all. Like so, like then there's a problem, and now society is actually seeing all those problems finally, and they are coming to bear now
Yeah.
those issues.
And one of the positive things of this censoring is that people are like David Icke and people that are saying things of truth and of what's actually happening in the world.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
they're getting censored, it's creating a lot more attention to them, and a lot more people are starting to, instead of watching mainstream, to go more into this alternative view. So I've seen a lot of positive things coming from all of
Yes.
this too, and I
Yes.
do see a shift happening.
Yeah, shift is happening, and but the shift is still more mainstream. Like people like David Icke, who was still mainstream for a long period of time, actually. And even in the truther community like that, there's some bit of acting involved, like because even those people don't have the answers; they just have the problems. They can tell you more about the problems. Okay, we have this problem. We have this problem.
Yeah.
It's not about the solution. It's
Yeah.
always about the problem.
The
Like,
problem. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, people who talk about the problem more, they get more attention. Like like
Yeah.
um, no, yeah, like
Love that you brought that up. Thank you.
yeah, because they are most. Like, I mean, anybody can tell. Okay, there are problems in this world, and that is very, very more easy to tell. Okay, actually, like is a solution, and solution begins with actual work on self and everything, and that's what none of these people talk about. Okay, they always yeah,
And it's
they
so
always talk about there
important
are these people who are against us and they are doing this. Okay, but what are you doing for
to
yourself?
think about it. Yeah.
What are you doing for yourself? I mean, why not focus on that? Okay, like I mean, anyone can do only any something if you're not doing something yourself. If you're busy doing something for yourself, nobody else can matters even in then, like in that way, like outside influences. So like that kind of thing is not mentioned, and I think a lot of people who are even hyped by even censoring right now are actually beings which don't have anything really to say in a solution terms,
Mm.
actually. So even if you hype them up and more people get interested, nothing much will come out of it, you know and so because it's just stays in the problem, that
Mm.
thing, that this is a problem, that is a problem, and but like there should be talk about solutions, not just problems, so
Yeah,
yeah.
and I wonder that, like with Sasha Stone and the New Earth Project, I love Sasha, and these David Icke gets a lot of attention. It's like all of these people, they've clearly mapped out what the problems are and all of
Yeah,
those details, and they've
yeah,
proven it and everything. So what I'm saying, it's like you guys have so much attention on you right now.
yeah,
So many people are wanting to get on board and make a change, but
yeah.
nobody is putting anything into action in that sense.
Because those people have to get out of the acting too.
Mm, okay. Okay. Yeah. So it
They
starts.
are also part of they don't realize that. They don't think they're acting, but they are acting. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, because in their own life, what happens is like, okay, if you reach a point of perception of certain kind, okay, then you reach a point where you have to do something about yourself,
Hmm.
okay, or something with yourself. If you come to any kind of knowledge, okay, because it's not knowledge if you don't apply. You can't if you can't apply it to yourself, right? It's not knowledge, right? That we can agree on. Like if you, that's just useless information. If you can't apply something to yourself in a like constructive, positive way, then it's not knowledge, right? So these people get to any level of information or anything, then they should start working on themselves and start looking at the solution for themselves, change their lifestyles, change their things like that. And which is none of these people ever do that. Okay. None of the so-called big names you mentioned, they're not changing any such thing. They live the same way they lived 30 years ago. Okay. Right now. There's no change in their lifestyle, way of being, anything, you know. So that means that you're not being honest with yourself and you're not being true to yourself. That, because once you come to know all these things, your next step should be like, okay, now what do I do?
Mm.
What should be done? How do I, with the human like body, this instrument I have, what do I do with this? Okay, so that I do the right thing, you know, no matter what others are doing or what these people or what the so-called um, elites are doing, they're so-called, I will call so-called only, so-called controllers are doing. That's not the point, you know. It's what you're going to do with yourself, and there's never any focus on that, you know. So I think they're still part of the acting game, you know. You know, then you just become the mouthpiece, and you have to play that role, like, and they've been stuck in that role now for, I would say, 20-30 years, same role, and they're not getting out of that role to do something more constructive, you know. So that's another kind of role which people get stuck into, which is not good. Like, and that's the problem with the so-called truthers, I find, over the internet, and like, which are many, but they, a lot of them, like, get stuck in their roles, you know, and they forget completely about solutions and their own personal evolution or evolution of other beings, nothing, you know. And so that is something which people need to watch out for. Like,
Yeah. And what are some solutions
yeah,
that you think for these times would be?
the solution is always like understanding that you're a being first. Okay, like first, like, because people think that they are this, like, I'm this David, John, or whatever, or like, uh, Jane, or whatever they think that they are, like that name, so people have to first realize that they are not that, they are a being. Okay, so if then it takes away all these terms like, spirit, soul, and all of those things which are not very known, like, people can't put a handle on spirit, or people can't think about what a soul is actually, like, which is equal to the sun. When you become equal to the sun, then you are a soul. uh, so these are more complicated terms. Let's just say that, like, I mean, I think a being is a very simple term. Okay, then I'm a being. Okay, just understanding that, like, I'm not this name and stuff, but I'm a being. Okay, and I want my well-being. Okay, and I am a being and I want my well-being, which is a natural thing for any being. Any being should want its well-being, right? Like, it's
Yes.
natural in every being, like, to want its well-being. Okay, it's the most natural impulse. If there is the most natural impulse in any being, the most core core natural impulse. It's to want well-being. Okay, you don't. Does anyone want bad to happen to one? Like any person? No, everyone wants good to happen,
Mhm.
right? That's the most natural impulse, right?
Yes.
So to align with that impulse, to say like, yes, I want my well-being. Yes, I want good for myself. Yes, I want. Okay, just that first, like repetition of that will break a lot of the spells
Mm.
which are around.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
Wow.
very simple thing, but it's a very powerful thing. Okay, like to understand that you're a being and you want your well-being. Because if you don't want your well-being, then only you can do negative actions. Okay, which are bad for your being. Okay, which bring it down, which take it down. When you get concerned about well-being, then every time you will think, okay, like, okay, I'm doing this. Is this good for my well-being or not? You will you will make that your yardstick.
Mm. Hmm.
You will live by that yardstick from that point. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, that's where like these terms well-being you won't find on interviews of any of these people. Okay.
that's right. It's
They
not
will never use the word term well-being at all. Like, I mean, which is the most basic natural thing.
Yes.
If you're not talking about that, then what are we talking about? Exactly. Okay. Like for some people, okay, it might be revelation. Okay, that they are controllers. There's this all this control and stuff, which is like it should be normal now after 20 years of internet.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
how more obvious can it get?
Yeah. Yeah. After 20 years of internet and 20 years of this, I mean, people who still don't know that, you know what I'm saying, then they are living in a different reality completely. Okay. Then still, I mean, anyone who doesn't know anything about anything, okay, can still figure out that, okay, I'm a being. They have to figure this out. Okay. Okay. I'm not this accountant. I'm not this bus driver. I'm not this. I am a being. Okay. You know, because people, whatever they do, they like, they'll just say, I'm a bus driver or I'm this thing or that thing or whatever, you know, their name, their occupation or anything like that. You know, that's not what they are. They're a being. Okay. And the being will live on even when this physical suit, this body finishes. You know, your beingness is longer than your physical existence. Okay. So things don't finish or end with this. Okay. So all this gives a very different perspective.
Mm.
So once you are a being and you are care about your well-being, okay, then you will automatically start doing actions which are different from the past, whatever you were doing before. So that is some actual change which
Yeah.
will come into
It creates a
like,
different reality.
yeah. So after that, once you are going in that direction and you're doing well for yourself and you're trying to do well for your being, and then if other beings try to sabotage that or stop that from happening, okay, then multiverse will take care of that.
Mhm.
Okay, that's when the force, what's it called, the force, the multiverse, that comes on your side. Okay,
Right.
then you have that backing.
Yes.
Okay, so then you don't have to be afraid. Okay, yeah, but if you're not caring about your well-being, then you have no backing.
Yeah.
Then
It's
you are easy.
action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then you are easy prey for all these so-called outside influences, the controllers, or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
You're easy prey because you actually don't care for your well-being. And if you don't care for your own well-being, then why would anyone else will?
Mm-hmm.
Why should anyone else do when you yourself don't?
That's right.
It's simple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the solution starts with that very basic core thing, actually, like for all human beings. That's why I didn't even say human being, because that's a big word again.
Yeah.
Just a being.
Yeah.
Just a being is good enough. Like, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just being a being.
Yeah.
Just being a being is is more than a good starting point, the best starting point, I would say. Okay. In English, that is the best word I can find to start, is beingness, because everyone knows about beingness. Like, I exist, so I am being. Like, because I'm existing. I'm here right now. I'm existing, so I'm being. Like, there's no doubt about this. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the most clear thing there is. So
So that's
yeah.
beautiful. Thank you for that. And
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you next, what is your insight into the current situation with the mass collective, and also what's happening in nature? There's a lot
Yes.
of natural disasters that you're posting on your channel that I'll leave the
Yeah.
link below.
Yeah.
They're not getting any coverage on the news whatsoever.
Yeah.
Can
No,
you
yeah.
please share your insight?
So the thing that is there, like, okay, we have to go into what Earth is for. What is this plane for? Like, okay, for this. Like, okay. Now, this plane was a place where spirits are put in a, like a prison-like situation. Basically, it's like a prison-like situation where they are meant to use that time to evolve. Okay. Because, I mean, in a prison, you don't want to stay forever in a prison, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to, even if you're in prison, you want to get out of there. Okay.
Mhm.
So you do the things, whatever is required to get out of the prison. Okay. So it was a place where beings evolved, to the next higher planes of existence. Okay. It was meant for that. Okay. That's what a place is meant for. Okay. But right now, if you see around, like for the last even 50, 100 years, and especially right now, people are not doing that. That's not what this place is being used for, right? You know, people are actually devolving more
Yes.
instead of evolving. Okay. So then a place loses, then the whole point of existence here becomes meaningless.
Yeah.
So that's when destruction happens. Destructive forces come into play because what it was meant for is not happening.
Like with this merging with technology and all of this
Not
unnaturalness.
just like that, like even in people, even before technology, even anything like that, people are just not doing any action which is for raising themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. People are doing actions which are bringing them down. Okay, but that's not the point of this place. This is places for people to evolve, beings to evolve. Okay, now that is not happening. What the primary purpose is not happening. So then it's best to destroy and restart.
Mhm.
Okay, you have to understand, like, because whenever something is meant for something and that is not going on, then there's no point to that thing. So there's no point to society, civilization, existence out here until beings are actually evolving. And if they were evolving, then nothing like this would happen.
So Mother Earth is just kind of cleaning it out.
Yes, obviously, because if everyone was evolving, let's just say there was a scenario where everybody was evolving and everybody was doing the right thing and they were evolving, then there would be no such thing, right? Then
Yes.
it'll be all nice and wonderful in a spring and great and everything, like, because the thing which is meant to be happening, what it is meant for is happening. Okay.
Yes.
So then there is no problem. Like, now when nothing like that is happening, and then uh, beings have a free choice. Like, beings have a free will. Okay. There's a thing called free will. Okay. Free will means that they are free to do either rise up or go down.
Mm.
That's a choice. Okay. Nobody can force. Nobody's forcing somebody to evolve or that thing. So people use that free will in a wrong way. And when majority use the free will in a wrong way, then creates a wave that um, evolution becomes like a no-no around the whole plane. Okay. Then there's no point of Earth being existing or supporting life. Why should nature and Earth support life for people to evolve? Because does that means nature and Earth wants your devolution? But it does not.
Yes.
It would rather you not exist here than exist in a negative fashion and devolve yourself. Like,
Ooh,
right?
exactly.
Yes. You know, like it so in that also, beings are only being saved from their own decisions, actually. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a positive thing, but it requires a lot of perception to see it in the proper light. you know.
And particularly in this year, like just within my own family and
Yeah.
people that I know, I've had 3 deaths already.
Yes.
And it's just like I've seen a lot more people, and I have one more relative who's gonna die in a few months
Yeah.
at the most. So it's like
Yeah.
I just, it's like a clean house thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And like understanding that death is just a beginning and start, like,
Mm.
and because point is that when these things happen, this natural disasters or things like that, then human beings see that, or beings see that, and even if they die in that, it'll make an impression on them.
Yes.
They will know they did this, the world was like this, then this happened. Okay. That
Yes.
memory will stay in them
Yes.
even after death. Okay. Okay. So then it makes an impression which in long term will make them do the right thing at some point. It's a lesson they would have learned, and they will have to learn. Okay. That this is not like, this does not exist just like that. If you don't do the right thing, and if you don't do the thing which this place is meant for, it's not going to last. It's not like a place you can do whatever and everything will be hunky-dory. There's no place in the multiverse like that. Okay. And so beings have to realize that. It's a realization which has to come. So these are the tools which are sometimes required, more extreme measures which have to be taken for masses to realize something, because otherwise they have not been realizing. They've been given a lot of time. It's not like internet also has come for 20 years now. So, like there was enough time to make realizations. Like nobody can say that if they're ignorant right now, if any being out there, any people, they're ignorant out of their own free choice, because all the information, everything is available now. Like, so if anyone chooses to be ignorant, then they choose that from their own free. I think nobody is stopping them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They create their own karma, and a lot of people in my family have died from cancer,
Yeah.
and because their whole life they eat horrible
Yeah. Yeah.
meat and animal and all of this flesh.
Yeah.
And right now my grandma has tumors all over her face and
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
and yes, it's horrible to see her like this, but it's like you were the one that created that for yourself,
Yeah.
and it's like it sucks to see someone you love suffer, but that's the reality that we live in.
Yeah, but the point of all of that is that there is actions have consequences.
Yeah.
Okay. And beings don't realize that. Okay. So like when you go into being and well-being, then only you realize all these things, because then you'll say, okay, I'm a being now. My well-being will only happen if I do the right actions. If I do right actions, then well-being will happen. If I don't do right actions, then not well-being will happen. So then all this right actions, not right actions, all of that comes into play from that concept.
Yeah.
Okay. And which people don't have in them. Like they just do whatever. They just do anything, whatever is happening. If
Yes.
everybody's doing something, I'll do it. Like, you know.
And they were
Yeah.
taught that the right actions are actually the wrong actions, and
Yeah.
it's through the media, and they designed it in that way, so it's like they get you in a devolution
Yeah.
stamp.
Yeah. But none of these people have repeated that I want my well-being.
Yes, good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. None of these people who talk about any of these things would have never in their life repeated this basic mantra, like I want my well-being.
Very true.
Okay. Just sit down and just even say that. They won't have said that. Okay. Like they won't have actually given any time or energy to that. Once you do that, your consciousness changes actually, and you become a different kind of person. You don't talk this kind of nonsense which you were talking before. Like all of that creates a change in your mindset. And there are other things like centering and stuff which I teach, which I can't go into detail right now. But I think just from the very basic core thing, this solution thing
Mm.
has to be that thing.
And do you
uh,
think that the magnetic pole shift, it has anything to do with these natural disasters? Is that happening?
no, nothing.
Does that
Again,
happen, or is that a
yeah,
lot?
yeah, no, no, nothing like that. It's all it's all bogus science, fake science.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people will always say all kinds of things about everything, you know.
And
But a reality is what I'm telling you, that's why it is happening. Okay.
okay.
Because they don't want to, like, nobody wants to bring out that point that beings, people on this plane are not doing what they are supposed to do, what they're here to do. That's why it's happening. It's very simple. Any other explanation given
Yes.
would take away from that, like, you know, like, with, yeah,
Curiosity, back
yeah.
when we had the ice age and all of that, what was that all about?
That's all fake science, isn't it? Who said there was ice age? Who said any of these things? Yeah, yeah, yes.
So
But you have to understand one thing. Everything you have read or been taught to you at school,
yeah,
okay,
it's
there
not.
was. When I say everything, I mean
Yeah.
everything. Okay. I'm not saying this thing, that thing, or that. Everything is a lie. So uh,
The planet doesn't go through those extreme
I mean, just like how do they know there's magma 100 kilometers on the below the Earth's surface,
Mhm.
and or any of these things, or what is the core of Earth? I mean, nobody has drilled past 11 kilometers, right? So how do you know anything? Yeah. I mean, people, I'm telling you, people don't even know what happened 200 years ago. Forget about 2 million years ago,
Yeah.
or 2000 years ago, or 200,000 years ago. Even any history with clarity can't be said even about 200 years. Like even 200 years ago, you can't be sure. There are
Yes.
conflicting reports of even anything 200 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they can change it. They can change all the history.
Yeah. Yeah. Because history is written by the winners, right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you can put anything in any, like, you can write whatever you want. You can give any kind of false information to the, I mean, when people are given false information, even about the present, in the present, then what to say about the past? Like,
Hmm.
when you can be fed wrong information about the present, which is happening right now, then what about the past? Like, I mean, you know, like, so
Absolutely. Like Abraham Lincoln.
yes, yes, yes. I mean, so you can't trust any of that.
Yeah.
Like, all you can trust the is the fact that you're a being and you are here. Yeah, and now
What's tangible.
and you have to take care of your well-being.
Yes.
Okay, like that's and not based on any kind of thing from school or books or this thing or that thing or ice age or not ice age or any of that. That's all nonsense anyways. you know I mean, that way, like, Greenland is still ice age, and like if you go
Yeah.
to Antarctica, it's ice age out there. If you go to northern Canada, that's ice age, right? In
Uh-huh.
Florida, at the same time, it's warm, like,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, yeah,
I
so
did want to tell you,
yeah,
you would be interested to know maybe, but they just opened the parks here in Miami,
yeah,
and I went to the park, and a policeman, apparently they're doing this now every day,
yeah,
goes in a police car, drives into the park all the way inside, on the grass and everything, and he takes a microphone and he tells everyone, he's yelling at everyone that they have to put their mask on, even
yes,
people that are by themselves,
yes.
working out, running.
They have to basically breathe what they are exhaling. They have
Yeah,
to inhale what they exhale. Okay. I
even,
mean, if body is exhaling something, that means it doesn't need it inside, coming back inside. Like,
exactly.
okay. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, I mean, again, which is against your well being. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
it's again, yeah. Yeah. I mean, so, and why are they doing that?
Yelling at
Not
you.
because
Yeah.
they have been given some paycheck they'll get at the end of the month to do that job, right?
Wow.
That's the only reason they are doing that.
The devolution is like, I see this more light and evolution coming, and much more turning on to what is real. And at the same time, I see the opposite happening, more
Yeah.
devolution, more intense, more in your face. It's
Yeah,
like,
because everybody makes a choice. I mean, even this whosoever the person is, they make the choice to do that. Okay, they can refuse to do that. They can say, like, no, I'm not going to do that. That doesn't seem right. This doesn't, that thing. It's not. It, so that's why all these choices are being made. So I call them all choices.
yeah,
These are decisions, and this is choices, and that's what this time is about. choices and decisions. So each being will make the choices, and it has come to a head now. Like, you can't get away from making a choice.
Mhm.
You can't stand on the fence, like, like fence it is. you know you will have to make a choice, and and whatever choice you make, the multiverse will register that. Okay, that this is the choice you made. Okay, because that's what multiverse is watching. Everything, like it is seeing what's going on. So anytime you make a choice, you actually send a message to that. So people have to realize that this is choice making time, and um, and there'll be a time where the choice won't be in their hands.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So right now they're making choices. There comes a point where you are not able to make the choice. Okay,
Yeah.
so before it gets to that, people should try and take the opportunity and make the choice.
Yeah, that's what
Like
I'm noticing is I see an opportunity here for all of us to finally break through this false construct and create the reality that we all want, which is this beautiful, harmonious world filled with nature that is
yeah,
balanced, that is not polluted, nothing like that.
yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you personally think that humanity is going to make it this time to walk through that door?
I like I don't like to put anything on anything in that way, in the sense that finally you have to watch. Like, it's not predict. You can't predict what beings are going to do. Okay, they can make the right choice. A lot of beings can suddenly make the right choice, and a lot of beings can suddenly not, because that's not decided by anybody.
Free
This
will.
thing is not all, like this is not a movie where everything has been written out already. Okay, this is not a like a script like that. Okay, okay, here things are happening as per what happens. If this happens, then this happens. It works like that, not like everything is already written and then you're doing the shooting. you know it's not like that. Okay, it's like whenever everything changes, every time choices are made. you know so I think, like, you just have to observe, like that, what is going to happen, like what people are going to do, you know whether how will they respond. And the thing is, people have to create that world for themselves first. Like, okay, if a being makes the right choice for themselves, then they say, I'm going to align with the multiversal laws, or I care for my well-being. And if they're going in that way, then they're going in that direction anyways, no matter where the whole rest of the world is going. It does not matter. So as many beings create that for themselves, they create that paradise for themselves, actually, by going in the right direction. you know like even if on a collective level it does not happen, you know but on an individual level it will. Okay, so it does not matter that much on a collective plane, because finally it's collective is like a lot of choices, basically. So so one has to see, and one has to always, basically, like right now I'm talking to you or whatever, tell the right thing. Okay, and then just see what people, because will do. You just observe that. You can't predict that. you know that's beyond predicting. You can't predict any of that. you
Yeah,
know
that
yeah,
makes a lot of sense too,
yeah,
because everybody has their own free will, and
yeah,
one day
yeah,
they can choose yes, one day they can choose no.
yeah. So whatever, so then you just have to see, like, like even this talk, and when it comes out, how each person will take it. How can you predict that? Like, you
Yeah,
know yeah, I mean each like, you have to just see, like, how they see it, whether they see the truth in it or they don't see the truth in it, or they, whatever their thing is.
mhm,
So um thing is to do the action, but not worry about the result. Like
yeah.
okay, so that's an important point to this. And when you're doing the right action yourself, then that's the biggest thing there is. There is nothing in this whole world which is of any problem to you. Like, you know so you reach that point when you're doing the right actions for your own self. That is where the whole crux lies.
And when you're doing that, you said that
Yeah,
there was like the universe creates
yeah,
kind of like this field of protection so that you can
yeah.
continue your right action. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, 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 obviously. It's a fluid. that thing. It's all very fluid, the whole thing,
Yeah.
so every time you do something, like obviously, uh, like multiverse is like a mother, right? Sort of.
Yes.
So obviously, if you take the right baby steps, then there will be a like a,
And during this
yeah,
time, we went
yeah,
into quarantine. A
yeah,
friend of mine and for me and a few other people,
yeah,
it was like I mean, it was so strange, but within like a week or two of the quarantine hitting, we had gotten these beautiful financial opportunities, and we got this abundance that flowed into us, while
yeah,
at the same time other people in my family and friends and circle lost
yeah,
their jobs, lost their security. So it was
yes,
like this kind of extreme thing
yeah,
that
yeah.
that
Because everything, people don't understand that all of this happens. Like there should be no fear of doing the right thing. Like right now, people think everything in the world is wrong. Okay, so only by doing wrong can you survive, or can you exist, or can you um, that thing. Like prosper. But that's not so. Like by doing the right thing is, and that's what people will see more and more in the coming days, how that is the case. Like, and whatever people consider prospering through all these negative things, that's not actually prospering. You are actually do harm to yourselves. you know like even if they get all the money, then they can only just get more bad habits and do more harm to themselves. you know so uh, prospering is not dependent on money or any of these things. It goes more deeper than that. So uh, so 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 people have to realize that, and they will realize that more and more when the situation gets more.
Can you talk about the prospering and the depth of that a little more? Can you elaborate, please?
Okay, like like people might think, okay, like right now this person has $1 billion. Okay, so then they are a prosperous being. Okay, but a person had $1 billion, but they might not know what to eat.
Mhm.
Okay, they might eat the same shit food, like which anybody. So then what use is that $1 billion, right?
So it's how you spend it. Yes,
Yeah, and I'll be like, oh, but what you going to do with it? I mean, all of that requires intelligence,
exactly.
right? And one way will you buy intelligence? I don't know which shops sells intelligence.
Yeah.
I don't know of a shop which sells intelligence. you know you put that much money and you buy intelligence.
Yeah. Put a
Or
little,
you
yeah.
yeah, 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 which will give you sense of living. you
Mhm.
know like money is no guarantee of sense of living, right? At all, like whatsoever. Like so people have assigned prosperity to different things, like in this age, like more to money. you know but they have forgotten the main things is not that, like like sense always is much more important than a person might not have any amount of money, but can live better and eat better than a billionaire.
Yes.
Like
And I know
like
I've seen people like
yeah. So then what I'm saying is prosperity is not that. Prosperity is actually again connected to your well-being. Who
exactly.
knows about well-being more, and who has more knowledge about what creates well-being?
Beautiful.
That's a more prosperous individual. like like
I
so
absolutely agree with that.
yeah,
That's very true. And you just when you hear the truth, you feel it. You can it
yeah,
just differently. It's
yes, yes, yeah. And these are the kind of things which are not being talked about in
yeah.
the Truther community. you
Yeah.
know yeah,
Yeah, focus, and that's what I'm getting tired about too. Is their focus, and I understand, to understand what it is and how it's made up, so that you learn to navigate it. But then
yeah,
and I did this too. You get stuck in it, where
yeah,
that becomes your entire reality, and you come to a point where you just I don't want to focus the rest of my short lifespan on
yeah,
this dark
yeah,
negative satanic forces. Like
yeah,
why give them that satisfaction? Let me go and focus on higher and divine and what is real.
yes, yes, yes. That's the main thing. That's the whole point, and that's what I've been trying to teach for even since I've come online and given interviews for the last 4 years, 5 years, and my channel from 2007. And finally, that's what it has to come down to. So you can beat around the bush. I call that beating around the bush. but
Yeah.
then you have to come to the point at some at some point, like, you have to come to the point, and that's where the whole like the evolution and the work and the real thing would start. And if more and more people like you and anywhere around the world, and they start, like, then it's all good news, isn't it? Like Tim saying, even if one individual gets something going around the world with that, like in the positive direction, that's a big thing in this world right now, where everything is happening for devolution. So every step by every being made for evolution is the biggest thing
Yeah.
ever. Like, I can't overstate the importance of that in this kind of situation. It's like a giant step. It's the real giant step for mankind, not the moon, fake moon landing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and now with the whole Mars, that's the new place.
Yeah. I mean, they can always keep the CGI people busy, and all those graphic designers.
Yeah.
Uh, More jobs for the graphic designers, I would say. That's all. So, like,
Spoke to my
yeah,
cousin
that's
yesterday who lives in California, and
yeah,
we live on two different realities. It's like Mars is our only chance of survival for the human race. He goes, this
yeah,
planet is not going to survive much longer. We have to go to Mars. I go, what are you talking about? If you can't even go,
yeah,
you can get
yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah, like Mars means, like, you can go to the desert wherever they're filming it, maybe in Arizona or Canada,
Yeah.
wherever. Yeah.
I put the WikiLeaks of the moon landing being filmed in
Yeah.
the desert. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, wherever desert, there are a lot of deserts around there. You can go to any of them. Yeah. So, but that's not going to like, that's not where the solution lies. Solution lies with your own self and its actions,
Exactly.
and people always want to run away from that.
Yeah.
You know.
So the solution is outside of myself.
Yeah. It's not with your own self and actions, and people want to not face that, and this facing will be more and more required in the times when the squeeze is on, like the squeeze is on, like so. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, I think I'm going to end the questions.
Yeah.
I think what you said is true, that everyone should really take time to digest this information. It's
Yes.
such life-changing information that I don't
Yes.
want to overwhelm the listener.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to pause the recording, but I'll stay on with you. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I hope you really were able to take in these beautiful truth rays that Prashant has been so gracious in sharing with all of us today. Namaste.
Yes.